So I want to come through with this quick message and pose this question because I've been more curious about it myself. Does bad things happen to you when you relapse on semen retention? Will bad negative circumstances happen to you when you release your semen, when you have a discharge, right? And I hear some men in the space, they talk about this, and there's some mixed opinions about it. I just want to say, whatever you think, whatever you believe about yourself to be true, just expect that very thing to manifest into your existence. You know, for an example, if you constantly think about, you know, being a police officer and you've envisioned that to be your career path for a while, for a long time, and you see that your friends, or you see that there's people that you know that are police officers, are in the career path that you want to enter in. The more times you think about that, becoming that, 9 times out of 10, the likelier you are to enter into that work field. Some way you're going to manifest a situation, a circumstance where you are now going to an academy to get certified, to earn that badge, to go through the necessary training to become a police officer. Okay? This is what happens in anyone's mind when they think about their career path, whether it be an electrician, a plumber, you know, welding, you know, whatever, you know, a carpenter. This is something you think about. This is something that goes on in your thoughts. You have thoughts of becoming something and you want to see it materialize in your existence. So there's going to be a set of circumstances that happen in your life that will lead to that result. Okay? And that's a positive thing. That's a positive outcome, right? A positive belief that you can have about yourself, and that's going to produce a positive outcome. The same thing applies to a negative belief, and then you producing a negative outcome in the process. So if you have this belief that you are a loser because you decided to discharge your seminal fluid, then enough times that you've been envisioning this way about yourself, you've been thinking this way about yourself for a long time, then guess what? When you splurge that nut, guess how you gonna feel? You're gonna feel like a loser. The reality that you're in, that's going to be your template of a loser, because that is what you spent your whole time thinking. The whole time you were retaining your sexual energy, you were telling yourself, man, I'm going to be a loser if I release. I'm going to be such a loser, man, if I masturbate. If that's your belief, then that's what's going to follow suit. Always be careful. Always be careful how you speak into your own life. And a lot of guys, they do this, and they wound up manifesting terrible outcomes, life circumstances. And look, we're all going to go through different life circumstances that are unfavorable, right? But knowing this, you don't have to constantly speak into those negative circumstances. You know that you're going to go through certain complications, right? We're human. We're going to experience life as how it's supposed to be lived and intended to be lived, right? But to sit on those thoughts that something bad is going to happen to me and then to speak it out, you're doing yourself no favors. And then you're creating this unfavorable reality of just negative circumstances, you know? So the minute that you bust a nut and you expect these negative circumstances to take place, expect a car crash to happen around you, expect a scammer to hack into your bank account and steal all your money, expect unexpected expenses to come to fruition, you know, that to pop up out of nowhere. Your life is going to reflect clearly of how you view yourself, you know, because reality is a mirror, and you're constantly looking at a mirror of your thoughts, your belief system, and it's playing out in front of you in real time. So be careful what you speak upon yourself, because the very thing that you speak upon yourself, it will materialize in a very negative way. If you believe that bad things are going to happen when you release your semen, then then your reality is going to reflect what you think, okay? Your reality is going to be adjusted to the setting of your mind. When you're playing a video game, right, there are settings on the video game. And however you want to adjust the settings on the video game, that's going to determine how well you play the video game. And certain settings that you set on the video game could give you the upper hand, could give you the advantage within the game that you are playing. So you have to give yourself the best advantage possible based off the settings that you've adjusted to. You've adjusted your life to. Adjust your mind to the correct settings that will give you the best advantage, that will benefit your life. Because the other side of that is you have this negative belief system, and you have these negative thoughts about yourself, and then you speak upon those bad thoughts about yourself. That creates a toxic vibration. That's going to create negative outcomes in your life. And you're going to be at a disadvantage, right? You're only shooting yourself in the foot when you create those disadvantages for yourself in life. So if you think you're a loser, if you think you're less valuable, you're worthless, then life is going to reward that terrible thinking.